Are these on? Right, okay. I am exhausted. Do you know that I thought that the donation bucket was an actual bin and I've been putting rubbish in it?
Oh, have you?
For the past
there's
couple
been
of
no
days.
money in it, yeah.
Well, I had to give a speech. I didn't know about the bucket. I've never done anything with a bucket, although I have been called a bucket. Boom, boom. But
You seem to have different mood lighting today.
well, I don't know. I mean, whatever. I'm not. Should we kill these lights? Actually, just
Yes,
seems a
it's a
waste
bit
of
brighty
natural
bright.
resources. In all honesty.
Oh no, not
that's
those
so
ones.
much better.
Oh, is it that right? Okay.
That's so much better. But anyway, so I said at the end of the show, I said there's a bucket. Now I'm on a fee because I don't agree with busking. So put whatever you want in and just get out. So that was my contribution. How are you, dear?
I'm all right, tired and emotional, darling.
Oh, big night again last
Well,
night.
yes, and you know what I said? Absolutely, I was going to do my show and go straight home. The audience were so unbelievably turgid, or it might be me, one or the other. No, I was actually quite good, but they just went all the way through.
Were you busy?
And I was, and I was traumatised, so I thought I'll have a pint. And then I started talking to somebody in the loft bar who I later snogged, and then none of your business, I'll tell you off air.
You're snogging in public.
I'm well.
That is revolting.
No, even worse, snogging in lobbies.
What? Lobbies?
Lobbies.
Oh, you'll be having sex in toilets next. This is
know,
revolting.
I know.
You'll be having it on the baby changing facilities.
Oh, that's I've never tried it on there.
There was a girl, I can't remember her name, and she was at our school, and she was 14. Come in, don't panic. And she had sex on the baby changing unit in the McDonald's in Reform Street, and ended up pregnant.
But I don't see
with a wee
baby
cheeseburger baby.
I don't see a baby changing table giving you much support.
She was very small.
Oh, right,
She was
okay.
very small.
I wouldn't risk that. I
No.
crash
Well,
right
think of
through.
the poor babies that need changing. But you had a nice night?
I had a lovely night, bumped into loads of people, and the night before I bumped into somebody called Reese who's in The Importance of Ernest, I think, which is at the Pleasance, and they've asked me to go on and do a cameo at the end. So I've agreed, and I don't know what I'm doing.
And when's this?
I have no idea.
Oh, well, fair enough.
I got a text about it. I have to give them a date.
Right, okay. And are you going to do it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like agreeing to things that I don't have the faintest idea what's going on.
Like this?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, absolutely
Not
like
a clue.
this. No, I broke my no drinking rule and I made love to a bottle of gin.
Which particular
Leith gin, my favourite
yeah.
gin, my very, very favourite Leith gin. And we were talking about Marks and Spencer's with Lucy, who's coming on. And my niece used to work there, Lucy, so we used to get the discount. And I've got the spheres that you make the ice in. So and I gave the dog one to lick, and that lasted the whole evening. No gin in it, obviously.
No, obviously.
Too warm for Dame Smidgen. But
Yes.
no, it was very nice.
So a whole bottle, Bruce. And irritatingly, you look fabulous because you don't get hangovers because you're evil.
Do you know what it is?
What
It's
is it?
volumizing powder. That's why my hair's up. I'm not saying it's nice, but it's perpendicular. I do look a bit like Christopher Walken. I was driving in thinking, because I've told this story many times. It was one time during lockdown, and these little shits went, "Oi, mister, is that a wig?" And I went, "It's Ms. And no, it's not." So yeah, I left random voice notes on various apps.
Oh, did you?
Yes, which is one of my favourite things to do.
So did you wake up this morning with the fear?
No, not at all, because I just blocked them all. No, I downloaded Grindr again, and it was things. I had no intention of bumming, honestly.
Macy, you're so loud.
It's too
Jesus, woman.
But it was when people were going, a couple seeks third. I'm like, so how many of there are you? This was a whole evening's entertainment. Oh, and I've started watching Revenge again.
Oh,
it's the best thing I've ever seen in my life. Has anyone watched Revenge? Do you remember Revenge? It's all set in the Hamptons, Victoria Grayson. Oh, fucking treat yourselves.
I'm watching Millionaire Motorhomes.
Well, not this month, because you're not in to watch the television.
No, but I've recorded it.
Oh, well, that's good. You've got something to work towards.
Yes.
Shall we have a guest on?
Shall we?
Shall
Let's
we?
do
Lucy,
that.
would you like to join us?
Please
Yes, give
come
a round
and
of applause for
say
lovely
hi, Lucy.
Hello, my darling. Come on. Yes.
Stop. Come and sit amongst us.
Oh, Lucy.
How lovely to have you. Are you well, my darling? Oh,
Just
I know.
yank
Yeah,
it
just
out, yank it
attack
out,
it. Oh,
yank it out.
That's it. Oh gosh.
Hello.
Can't imagine
Hi,
what you're
Lucy.
like with a cock.
It was funny because I met Lucy outside and she had a bundle of flyers, and when she came in she went, goodness, these were an optimistic gesture.
Yes.
And I said, yes.
Very.
Yes, indeed. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
But you're not enjoying the heat.
I'm not enjoying. It's not for me.
No, not for you, love.
No,
Do you like heat when you're on holiday?
Well, yes, a little bit. My husband really likes it. He wants to fry.
Oh.
But I don't know. I'm all right with heat if I can just do this. Lie.
I like heat if you can lie
If I
and
can
there's
be
water
utterly
nearby
still.
that you can just
yes,
dip
and you
in
can
and
just flop
out.
into the water
Yeah, no,
to
100%.
cool down.
But equally, I don't like being cold, so I'd rather be hot than cold. So I'm just saying that I can't wear a flimsy outfit because then I'll get chilly at some point when I go down and the wind blows. I'm not having it, so I'm sweating myself to death here.
Right, yeah. I don't know. I don't like either of those extremes.
Do you like being alive?
Do I like being alive? I do love being alive. I think if I had to choose between hot and cold, I would go for cold. Because I think there's more things you can do to combat that. Like you can pop a jacket on.
But if you cast your mind back to any time your boiler's broken down and you've sat in a cold house, that's quite miserable.
It is, yes.
Isn't it?
It is, yeah.
It would make you start drinking.
Yeah.
Yes.
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 Oh, yeah, it's awful. Life's awful.
It's hellish. There's a war on. People can't park their cars.
There's monkeypox, a plenty, but you're now...
Do you know, we're just speaking about that, just for the listeners, I am now vaccinated, although I have to say, cloak and dagger re-sessual health in Edinburgh. Hello, do you know what you're here for? I went, well, it's not a termination, is it? Don't be stupid. And she went, but do you know what you're here for? Can I have your name? I went, all my details are on the screen in front of you. I went, what is this? Seriously. And do you know what the problem is? They've merged gay men's health with family planning that used to be in Stockbridge, which is like Kensington. So all these snooty bitches that are bummer-phobic are just judging you because of your life. And she went, why are you getting this? And I said, because I can't be Gabriel. I said, I spend too much on my skin. I want a smooth epidermis. And I just don't want bloody monkeypox.
I think it's very sensible.
Yes, thank you.
It's a sensible choice. Also, you said you're going to London, aren't you?
I am going to London to do warm-up for drag queens, which are an appalling species of individuals. There's one at the door. She's a part-timer. So yes, no, it's a thing called Queen of the Universe. So they actually sing. They don't lip-sync. But you said you can sing. Yeah. So she's a singer, Nathan. Yeah.
Huh?
Can you sing?
Yes, I can sing, but my timing is so poor that when I was at drama school, my music teacher was the wonderful Colin Sell, who used to play the piano for I'm Sorry I Haven't a Clue. And he said that the hardest thing he's ever had to do in his entire career is accompany me.
Really? Yes. Oh, I take that as a huge compliment.
I do, yes, and I'm tempted to put it on my flyers.
Yeah. Finally broke him.
Yes, he I make a nice sound, but I can't. My timing is awful. It's a classic case of overthinking.
Yeah, which we were discussing.
I'm an
earlier.
overthinker.
Bruce is an overthinker.
Yes.
And I compensate for both of you by not thinking anything.
That's good.
Do you think some stuff? I mean, for all your kind of haphazard attitude towards life, for want of a better thing, you're very rational. You're actually quite a calm person.
Oh, I'm very
I'm prone to hysteria, which isn't like my people at all. I'm not stereotypical in that way. No, I'm quite hysterical. It's funny, I'm so laid back about so many things, but it could be tiny things. You know, like a tiny noise. Oh my God, I just want to stab them in the eyes.
Oh no, I'm the complete. Yes, it takes a lot to rile me. I'm very good in a crisis, and just like, it'll be fine. Whatever. I lost my keys at Glastonbury, and I was fine about that. Never found them. Yeah.
Your car keys?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did they turn up?
No.
How did you resolve the situation?
Smashed a window.
Oh.
Now, in fairness, you didn't. There's a bit more to it. Stop making out as though you're some kind of superhero here, because you're not. You came back with thrush. She did. And I want that noted.
Sorry, you were calm about thrush as well?
Well, she had no option. I think she was just glad. It was funny, actually, because I was telling my sister-in-law this. There was one day I was on the phone to Jojo, and obviously, only me, Nathan, and I presume the tech has testicles. And I'd had terrible trouble going back to Marks and Spencer with pants, because I've got quite a big thigh, and they skirt, so they don't support, right? And I'd ripped my gusset, I didn't know it, and I was making a coffee. And I said to her, I went, oh, there's something wrong. I'd sat on my nuts, and they'd gone numb, right? So I had to get off the phone, poke them around to get feeling back into them. And it was her that said, between me and my thrush and me and my nuts, she had a fizzy fanny and I had numb nuts.
Numb nuts and fusty fanny.
Fusty fanny, fizzy. Yeah, my sister-in-law met her and they got that story and she was like, oh.
No.
Because Jill's so easygoing. No.
Now tell us all about your show. It's My Fat Wedding.
Yes, Lucy Frederick's Big Fat Wedding. It's about it is about my wedding. I got married in September.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Congratulations.
I'm glad you're still able to milk it.
I know. I'm going to say I just got married for about
10 years?
Yeah, 10 years thereabouts.
Yeah. It's like Nigella, a recently boiled kettle.
Yes.
When's recent? Last Thursday.
Yeah, that's right. No, but it's actually about being a fat bride. It's about my body, being a fatty, and sort of learning to be okay with that.
Were you a bit of a bridezilla with the lead up to it?
No, I wasn't. So the show is about taking up space, literally and figuratively.
Yes.
So it's actually more about the fact that this is not in the show, but on my hen do, my two bridesmaids who are big personalities, poor boundaries, those are the sort of people I gravitate towards. And they said, "Oh God, you've been in a massive pain throughout this whole process." And I was like, "Oh my God, I have actively tried not to be a massive pain." I've just said,
but it's your fucking wedding, you do what you like.
Well, also, I've always actively tried not to be a pain. I was like, no, I'll have whatever, as long as it's, not too expensive. Just whatever, I don't mind. I'll be happy with whatever. And they said, because you don't state what you want, we have to try and guess. And it's much more difficult than if you were just a massive bitch and said, I want this and I won't take anything else. Yes. So that's interesting, isn't it, I think? That's not in my show, actually, but it is about the fact that I'm not very good at stating what I need, taking up space, and kind of liking the things I like, and it's basically about loving your body as it is right now and not how it might be
in 6 months.
Yeah.
No, it's interesting because you use the word fat. As you can see, I'm a larger lady. I was larger. I was 20 stone. I'm now somewhere in the 17s. Thank you. But the point is that people don't like the word fat now, and I just think it's factual. I don't understand why people automatically think that you're being derogatory about someone if you discuss, I am still fat. I'm still in the obese range. I was morbidly obese and now I'm obese because these are the options. But I don't mind if someone says, a bit of
beef on.
Yeah, exactly, because it's factual.
I think it is, but I think it has such terrible connotations, and particularly for women. It is. We're just conditioned to be anti-fat and to be terrified of fatness.
And like you're saying with getting married, and yes, the assumption everybody or most brides always want to lose weight for their wedding.
It is depressing.
Did you want to? No. So there was never crossed your mind that you needed to slim down to get married?
No, I didn't.
Brilliant.
I can't slim down. This is the shape and size I've been since I was about 14.
Right. Okay.
I've tried I've done it all. I've tried it all. And I've also been super sad about my body for years. And I'm just done with that. I'm done being sad about it. And this is the body that I've got. It's a walking, talking miracle. We all are. Like, you've got a body, and it works. You're doing well.
Well, that's the thing, if you can walk and you can make your own decisions. Ultimately, I have a father who's in a bad way through stroke. If you can wipe your own arse, you're winning at life. He can't.
Yeah, 100%.
He's lying away and is thin, deathly thin, but is dying a very, long, drawn out death in a cot, in nappies. It's inhumane. But it's funny how you go on about brides getting thin, because I had a cousin, and I think she was down to like a slice of toast a day in the run-up to the wedding all these years ago. Have you ever seen the film Bride Wars, where they're in Vera Wang, and she said, "Oh, you going on a diet beforehand?" She said, "Because what is it? You fit your body to fit Vera, not the other way round."
Oh, yeah.
And I thought, "Oh, that's good." I tried that in Georgia Asda in the clothing department with someone once. It didn't have the same effect because it's mass-produced shite. But it is that thing, the bullying, the self-bullying, the self-flagellation. "Oh, I'm fat, therefore I'm worthless." I equated that a few months ago, and then I was embarrassed because I was overweight because people can't afford to eat and all this kind of stuff, and then you're thinking, are people looking at me thinking, "Oh Christ, he's just eating and people can't."
The things are not the same. Actually, obesity is much more common in poverty-stricken houses. It's expensive to eat well, and there's lots and lots. There's really, interesting sort of socio-political sort of stuff around fatness, about why we don't like it. It's also, actually, there's lots of information about how it's fat phobia stems from racism, it stems from a fear of the black body.
But it does feel like that, doesn't it? I always, people, they project their own insecurities and fears 100%. Onto the person. So, somebody who will look at you and go, oh, how could you be that size? It's their fears, not yours.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. And it is, and I think the thing is, one of the things I say in my show is that loving your body, whatever size you are, it just takes constant effort and constant maintenance. Doesn't matter what your issues with your body are, because you don't have to be fat to have body issues. You can not like your tits, you can not like your legs, whatever. I think there's a lot of, most people, actually, men and women, and everything in between, have some sort of body anxiety. And loving your body takes constant maintenance. You have to continuously, sort of guard against all the things that are in our society and the media around you that want you to feel a bit shit about yourself.
Can I go back to the thing that you said, that fat phobia stems from racism? Because I had no idea about that. My sister's a bit of a fattest. She's only had, she's like, oh, but you've lost weight. Oh, that's good. And it's like, well, first of all, I'm fine. Thank you for asking.
Well, that is a big thing. So you said, because you made a little joke when you said I'm down to 17. Thank you very much. And I never congratulate anyone on weight loss now. So my mum died. So my mum died in 2004, and she was a big lady, and she lost weight. And you would be amazed at the amount of people who went, "Oh, Jenny, you look great," when she was dying. Yeah. So I don't comment on people.
Yeah.
So
No. That's
I think you've made an interesting point.
But the racism, that I just find that extraordinary. I love a black body. I am essentially Naomi Campbell's twin sister. I'm obsessed with Naomi, but I love their muscle tone. I love the skin and all that kind of stuff. So I'd never heard that. That's very interesting.
I'm not the authority on it at all.
No.
There's brilliant literature. There's a great book, I think it's called Fearing the Black Body, which is really brilliant. And it's about where this sort of they're giggling. Why are they giggling?
What's happening? Who's laughing? Why is that? This is a professional broadcast.
Do you find racism funny? I don't.
Oh, so, but I do. I like all kinds of bodies, particularly. Fetishize, pipe down, madam, honestly. For goodness sake.
You do need to think probably about yourself. There's brilliant. Anyway, I'm not the authority, and there's brilliant people who can talk about it much better than me. But essentially, the root of it is that as most people know, sort of 400 years ago, the sought after female body was a bigger one with hips, and actually double chins were sexy and cool, and big boobs, and and sort of voluptuous
sort of
figures.
Rubenesque, isn't it?
100%, yes. Those kind of figures were the sought after ideal figure, and if you were very slim, then that was not attractive. But after the invention of slavery, where there were black people coming to places like the UK and America, black women have that classic sort of curvy figure, and it was a move away from that kind of body, which then started this trend for thinness in women.
Wow.
I probably have any
fascinating.
Somebody may well. I'm sure that anybody listening to the podcast, not anyone today because there's no one here, but I mean,
they're listening.
Will tell me that.
They're listening live.
There are other places that you can read it much more eloquently than I've put it, but
that is a very interesting insight, because the funny thing is now, particularly, I mean, I know the Kardashians are constantly accused of appropriating black culture, but they seem to go after the aesthetic that people were running away from then all those years ago with a larger...
Well, it's called, this phrase blackfishing, I believe, is what it's called, isn't it? That of using elements of black culture to, kind of picking and choosing elements of black culture. Like, for example, having a big bottom, and what have you, and the boobs, and what have you, and the big lips, or like sexy, all this stuff, but not having any of the stuff that goes along with it, which is the, being a victim of racism every day, and the oppression and what have you.
But that's really interesting.
If I explain that all right, I don't sound like an arsehole.
No, you don't sound like an arsehole at all.
I'm sweating from anxiety.
But going back into what you were saying, that now obesity tends to be rife in poverty-ridden areas.
Yeah, totally, yeah.
But again, that was the other way around. That in society, and it's a sort of class system, that it was voluptuous, buxom people, because that was a sign of their wealth and opulence, and that skinny people were basically kind of...
Yeah, I think you're right, though. But I think it's absolutely a sign of wealth now to have the perfect figure, isn't it? Because 100%. It means you can afford the personal training, the dietitian, the nutritionist, whatever, And so I think that's massively flipped on its head. And also there's also stuff about emotional eating, isn't there? That, that actually being overweight is nothing not to do very... rarely to do with the fact that you're just greedy, like that's, or that you don't move enough. There's all these sort of ridiculous myths really around, around fatness and bigness, that because actually, there's all sorts of things like your metabolism and emotional eating and, your relationship with other people. Apparently overeating and being an empath and being a people pleaser are very linked together as well in terms of your mental health. Those are really interesting stuff that I'm not really an authority on.
No, but it's very interesting to hear your take on, what you find out. Because what I always thought, if you look at Victoria Beckham and you look at Dawn French...
I have to.
No, you do have to for this. But as she got more and more successful, Victoria Beckham became thinner and thinner and thinner, whereas Dawn French at the height of her fame got bigger and bigger and bigger. I just always thought that was really interesting because it's almost as though being stick thin and one breath away from death is, the thing, along with bad facelifts.
But Dawn French has slimmed down considerably, I think, now, hasn't she? She's kind of...
It's because she's not as successful anymore. That's the thing.
It's not. I don't know. I think, and obviously there are sort of, the extremes of weight. You're very, very slim or very large. Then obviously there are health implications and what have you. But I think that... I think we get really bogged down in that in terms of, and I obviously, I have no comment on being underweight. It's never been a thing for me. It's not an area that I can comment on. But certainly, for being overweight, there's a lot of focus on, you shouldn't celebrate it because it's actually really unhealthy. Sorry, it's really unhealthy, so don't be saying positive things about it. So but, we all do unhealthy things.
Of course we... Hello.
Well, clearly.
We'll probably see...
I think that's why I really enjoy... I mean, I like her music as well, but I think Lizzo, the singer, I just think she is an incredibly positive...
I love that bit.
Yeah, she's just fabulous, isn't she? I mean, don't get me wrong, I don't think I'd want to go on a night out with her because she'd be telling you constantly how fine she is. I'm too fine to be in this podcast, I'm too fine to do it. And you're like, Lizzo, we get it, you're uber confident, you have to shut the fuck up now, love. Mummy wants to talk. But I do think that I just think she's a fantastic role model.
Have you seen the talent show thing called Big Girls? Because it's got no eye.
Oh, yes.
It's a big girl. In my accent, sounds ridiculous.
Now, I'm going to suspect you never apologise for the size you are, but do you feel that you're put in a position where people expect you to, what you're saying about taking up space in the show, do you feel that people's expectation is that you should apologise for being...
Yeah, I think so. I definitely do apologise way too much.
Do you?
Yeah, totally. But that's because that's the other side of the show is my own sort of inability to take up space in a figurative sense, and the people around. I gravitate towards people who take up space and are, very unboundaried, and so I end up feeling like, oh no, I'm all sort of put out in my life. Okay. So I do a lot of apologising, but it's definitely something I'm aware of and I'm working on. Try very hard to be like, well, no, this is the space that I take up, and I'm quite a sort of bombastic, loud person as well. My show, I think sometimes people come and sit on the front row of my show and kind of just slowly throughout it just lean back because I'm like, and then this happened, and then this other thing happened, and oh my God,
and another thing.
I sort of wave my arms around a lot. I've also got a telly on the stage, right? Because I have a couple of, got a little PowerPoint. And a little video I've got a video of me cutting my husband's hair during lockdown 1. It's just me bullying him into a bowl cut. I'm so spatially hopeless that I whack the telly with my hand at least twice a show. It's been there since the beginning of the run, and I'm like, I just hope I'm just like a person.
Be more Lizzo.
Be more Lizzo.
Enjoy
that's it.
smacking the
She
television.
She doesn't do that. She's all sort of spatially aware. She can do like special dance. She can do the brilliant dancing.
Well, maybe you just need a full-time choreographer
I did
for life.
maybe, yes.
That's all you need. What time are you on and where?
I'm on at 3:40.
3:40.
It's a clash. It clashes with everybody. 3:40 at the Gilder Balloon Patter House, which is lovely. Please come see my show because it's awkward doing it to like 10 people, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, you're lucky you had 7 people. I mean, you're just rubbing salt into the wound, Lucy.
That's true. No, you are right, and I am grateful
But
to the people who
it's
come.
that eternal thing, isn't it? But yes, definitely, we just get bums on seat and getting them in.
Yeah, no, it's nice.
Get the bummers in. They love a seat.
That's true. I'm also, by the way, I should say, doing Myra Dubois' show as well.
Are you in that?
I am. I
Lovely.
am in that. I play Myra's sister Rose.
Nice.
And I won't give it too much away, but my body confidence is relevant to that show as well.
Okay.
So I won't say any more than that, but it's worth a look. That's
And what time and where is that?
Myra Dubois Problem Shares on at 7:45 at the Underbelly Bristow Square.
Oh, lovely. Very
well,
lovely.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Can we have a round of
Oh,
applause for
thank
lovely
you so much.
Lucy?
Thank you.
Thank you. Now, Alice,
with
are you
that
ready?
again.
Are you primed? Are you brined?
Darling.
Lovely. You're brined.
Wonderful.
I'll tell you about that in a minute. Can we have a round of applause for Alice Brine, please? Thank you, Lucy. Hello.
That's where the Brines was coming in.
Brine.
Indeed.
Hello, dear. How are you?
Hello, how are you? Yes, grab that.
Oh, I'm liking your
Hello.
Converse. Are those the Rick Owens ones?
No, they're the I don't know what they're called, but they have like a wee platform on them, so they make me a bit
they're
taller.
nice.
Oh, they are.
Make me a
They're
wee bit
fabulous.
taller, you know, give me a bit of height, so I'm really around a wee
There we
bit.
go.
That's better.
But you're sounding, because when Nathan was saying your name, me and Lucy thought he was saying Brown in a very posh Scottish
Brown.
accent, but it's Brine, as
Brine,
in
yeah.
I brine
Like
my...
tuna soaked in brine.
Well, yeah, he thought that. I was more thinking about the brining of a turkey a la Nigella.
Yeah,
Because you do that with spices.
It's very Nigella. There's a big time for brine every year when they do their Thanksgiving. It's like it's trends on the internet and stuff. It's quite cool.
Oh.
Yeah, I always just pretend it's me trending.
Right. Do
Yeah.
you discuss your surname in your show?
Discuss.
Your surname?
No, actually, I don't. I just kind of like, there's a lot of comedians called Alice, and people like to get female comedians mixed up fucking so easily. Like, I had a sold out board, and they put the wrong Alice on it, and I was like, this is a joke. Not to mention that I was sold out, but whatever. And so I like to play up the brine bit because it's like quite a distinctive word, and my nickname in New Zealand's Briney and shit, so...
And with the name thing, I mean, a little bit different. I think Jojo Smith had done the Stand Newcastle, but they'd said, great weekend at Stand Newcastle with Jojo Sutherland. So I replied and said, I think this applause is for Jojo Smith. And they replied going, oh yes, sorry, apologies, Julia Sutherland.
Yeah, it's what?
Oh my
I
God,
know.
how insulting.
100%. So,
Oh, I saw her the other evening. She really doesn't like me. But anyway, we'll move on.
Oh,
We'll
I'm
move
going to
on.
have to look her up.
Oh, save yourself
No,
the
just
time.
because I want for the goss.
Oh, right, okay. I'll tell you after. That's really it. We don't like each other. Actually, if you have any brine, I could throw it at her. I think...
I could make you some.
Could you? Your own special brine.
Little broth.
A little broth.
Little custom broth for you.
Oh, nice.
Cheeky.
Are you a fan of broths and
No,
noodles
I actually
and
am.
ramen?
I love salt.
Yes.
oh, I love
I'm a
salt.
fiend.
Everything.
Well, apparently you
Salt
get
on
either a
salt.
salt tooth or a sweet tooth. I'm definitely a salt tooth. Cheese, nuts,
None of those things are salty.
cheese.
Very good for hangovers.
What?
Salt. Well,
I don't
salt.
get them.
No, I know.
No,
but that's what I'm
don't get
telling
them. Do
you.
you get
so-
hangovers?
Yeah, some of the worst you've ever seen. I'm like, oh, it sucks.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm going to do that irritating thing of saying, is that a New Zealand or an Australian accent?
It's a New Zealand accent.
She mentioned that earlier.
When I mentioned it
Listen,
earlier.
I know
when-
it was-
Thank you for listening. I mean, good lord. Have you been to New Zealand? Because you're going to Australia, aren't you?
I'm going to Australia, Perth, Adelaide and Adelaide, Perth,
Adelaide.
Adelaide and Melbourne, and potentially New Zealand. But
Are you
it's a bit-
going?
It's in the offing, but I'm thinking it's a bit too close to my daughter's wedding in June. I think I should come back a bit
Got ya.
earlier.
Whereabouts in? Because I used to live in a house in Seven Sisters in London with gay Buddhists. It was hellish because I was the only one that ate meat, so I used to come in pissed out my mind with kebabs and all that kind of stuff. And they had a friend, Carla Cherry, who was from Christchurch.
Cool.
Are you from Christchurch?
No, I'm from Wellington.
Is that where Auckland
capital.
was where the New Zealand Housewives were filmed? Did you watch any of that?
Oh, that horrible show, yeah. So like Beverly Hills Housewives and stuff is fun because it's got the budget, so it's like at least interesting because they're doing all this stupid shit with all their money. This was just kind of like a bit of cash and a lot of racism.
Yeah, they weren't very nice
New
at all.
Zealand has a huge problem with racism. It's not as bad as Australia's, but
they say that New Zealand is very similar to Scotland, but just with lots less people. Not. I'm not saying the people are, but
there's definitely similarities. I noticed. Like Edinburgh reminds me a bit of Wellington. Oh, okay. But it's just New Zealand's more made out of timber. Like everything's wood because brick is too dangerous for earthquakes.
Oh, you're troubled by earthquakes.
Oh, we're very troubled by earthquakes. Yeah. You have about 2 big earthquakes a month.
Really?
Yeah, it's annoying.
Do you still live there?
I've lived in London for 5 years.
Right.
You just got everything put back together and then it rattles away.
Because every now and then there'll be like a big wind in London, and then you hear the house rattle, and like your instinct is to go get under a table, and then you're like, oh, I'm in London. This is stupid. But yeah, like the panic attack is, you never get rid of it.
Oh no, I don't know if it could be.
Yeah, I've been through some nasty ones too.
Really?
Yeah, like proper like destroyed cities. Oh. Yeah, there was Christchurch was completely destroyed by an earthquake. The whole city was
I wonder if Carla Cherry's family were affected by this.
They would have been.
I'm not in touch with the Buddhists anymore, so I've no way of finding out.
Yeah, maybe just kind of like zen it out into the universe and ask.
Well, yeah, I'll cosmically order. And did you know that they film Drag Race Down Under in New Zealand?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
No, they did that because of COVID, because Australia something, I don't know what it was.
Right. And who did we have on from New Zealand that lived in the woods? What was her name? Was she in New Zealand? Was she in Australia? We were speaking to her about Jacinda. Was her name Sarah?
Oh, no, Kate Barron.
No, she's American.
Oh.
Canadian.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's her PR up there.
Who was that?
Who was the woman that lived in the woods?
Oh, Laura Davis.
Laura Davis, yes.
Laura Davis,
was she Australia or New Zealand? I can't remember either.
Australia.
This woman lived in the woods.
That's pretty common, yeah.
Really?
Yeah. My ex-boyfriend lived in the bush for like 6 months of a year, and then the other one was mine.
But she wasn't. I find this appalling. Are they under tarpaulins?
Sick joke. Nathan got my joke.
Well, Nathan would, because Nathan is a very troubled individual.
Yeah. We figured that out day one at the Fringe. Me and Nathan were like, oh, are we besties? I guess. Well, sick in the head.
I think we'll place Nathan in a house of correction.
Oh, that sounds nice. Nice wee break.
Yes, he would enjoy that, so I'm withdrawing.
Nice wee breather. I'd love a little sectioning, day off.
Do you discuss mental health and kinks and stuff in your show?
I definitely talk about, mental health. It's an interesting one, because my show is stand-up comedy, and it's about I'm a storytelling stand-up comedian, but like there's lots of jokes in it. It's not boring, I promise. And then a lot of it is just about ridiculous situations that I get myself into, and they always start off really, really relatable, and then they take this turn that just sends people spiraling, like, why have you done that? Why did you choose to react like this to this situation? And it's because I've got very, 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 very severe ADHD. And so this me now is like, I'm very, very, very medicated. So the only reason I can actually, my legs are doing weird things, but the only reason I can focus in this conversation is because I'm heavily medicated. So I talk about that in my show, and I just kind of shed some light on what ADHD is really like, and because I'm really sick of people being like, don't we all have ADHD? You seem really normal for ADHD.
But that's interesting.
I'm like, shut up.
So irritating.
The amount of retrospective, particularly with divorced women in their late 40s that I know that work in publishing, not naming names.
Guess who don't say?
Well, exactly. But they've had retrospective diagnosis, and going back to the Housewives.
Everybody's getting diagnosed way, way too late. Women get diagnosed really late.
Yeah, one of the Housewives of Cheshire had to leave the franchise because she was diagnosed as retrospectively ADHD, but suddenly now her life makes sense.
Yeah, my life
I'm sure the money helps as well. I mean, for God's sake.
No, yeah, I talk about this on the show, so I don't want to give away too much, but my life changed hugely when I got diagnosed. Like huge. Like I was at school and I was failing every single subject, but I don't want to brag, but like I knew I was really smart. I was really passionate about all the subjects I was doing, but I just would get to the exams and it just wouldn't happen. And I was like, oh, I'm not going to be able. I went to big state school, so they kind of like ignore you a bit. And I was like, oh, I'm probably not going to be able to go to uni. And then luckily, something happened that was just like you couldn't ignore how ridiculous it was what I'd done. And so then I got diagnosed, and then I graduated with like firsts.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Mad, right?
But isn't it amazing that any kind of behavioural difficulties that go undiagnosed, you're immediately...
You're dumb, you're stupid, you're lazy, you're annoying, you're just loud, you're impatient.
And I think I'm all of those things, but I think it's only in the last 10, 15 years that actually, particularly in this country, they've actually identified that and got resources to deal with it. Because you're right, if you weren't privately educated, I had trouble at school for a whole host of reasons, and it wasn't that I was unintelligent. I mean, I'm not educated per se, but
You're not dumb.
No, I'm not dumb. No, that's very true.
I mean, no one really is, but you know how someone's like a little bit silly sometimes.
Do you know
when you meet someone and they just don't get it? That's all, G.
Yeah,
some people are just like
my mum. Yeah.
But that's it. Do you know what? Because people do get diagnosed now, and there is, there's research and everything gone into it. Because before, when I grew up, there was what was called remedial classes, which was just for all the thick kids. But I reckon, in retrospect, was probably underdiagnosed ADHD and
in
ADD.
New Zealand, it's still called cabbage. Do you guys?
Really?
Cabbage.
Cabbage.
They were like, we're going to move you to cabbage math. And I was like, oh, thank God. That'll help. And then I got moved into cabbage. It was called, but that one was actually called Pathways to Life.
It's funny, actually, because I was in section 5 for maths. I won't tell you what that was called.
No,
it was a horrible thing. And it was the same with science, because this is the thing that Harris Academy in Dundee. If you weren't proficient in science or maths, you couldn't do computing.
Oh my God, that's so dumb.
Exactly. How
I
ridiculous.
ended up accidentally becoming a computer programmer for a while, and I'm terrible at maths. It's not about maths.
No, exactly. But
It's about pattern recognition and being really, really, really like on the ball.
so an inquiring mind would go with that, wouldn't it?
Yeah, crazy,
Yes.
crazy people make the best coders.
Cabbage. Oh, I must tell my niece. She'll find that hilarious.
I think all education is just having a good memory.
Yeah, well,
It's
the
a
way
function,
that they
actually.
judge it
It's
is just
learning and remembering.
how much can you write down
So
in one big session.
What's your degree in?
So I have a Bachelor of Arts in Film, Theatre and Media Studies, but I accidentally got a Korean cinema degree as well.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, my friend had to fill out all the paperwork for me because I was really, I'm fucking terrible at paperwork. So my best friend
snap.
would... Oh, I'm not allowed to swear. Oh,
No,
sorry.
no, stop. I'm terrible at
Oh,
paperwork.
yes. It's an ADHD thing. It's really challenging. Like, it's debilitating. It's one of these things that people are like, oh, that's an excuse. And you're like, no, like... It's just not going to happen. I'll have a panic attack. So she accidentally enrolled me in a Korean cinema degree.
Do you find that the text and stuff jumps around?
Yeah, but that's Erland's when that's happening. Have you heard of Erland's syndrome?
I think I'm just dyslexic.
No, because there's Erland's as well, which is the jumpy around. Dyslexic's a bit different.
Ah.
But yeah, and then you can get these special glasses and these coloured screens that you put on paper and it makes them stop jumping around.
I know, but I'd feel really stupid doing that.
They let me sample some glasses once and it made me feel like the guy, remember on the David Letterman show and he like played the keyboard and he had funny coloured glasses?
No.
Or like Anastasia, maybe? Made me feel like Anastasia.
Yes.
And I was like, I don't need to be looking like Anastasia on this exam right now. This is embarrassing as hell.
Is she still with us?
She's amazing.
Ah.
She was out for brunch and then they didn't recognize, it was a drag brunch. It was all caught on TikTok. The drag queens didn't recognize her and then one of them suddenly did and she was just like sipping her mojito and then she just stole the mic, did a whole performance.
Oh, no, I like that.
Just
I
the
like that
proper
when-
chops of it.
Oh, yeah, no. She can sing.
The one that makes you think that you can sing and then you do it and you're like, nope, never doing that again.
I like that one with Adele, when Adele did the Adele lookalike and she was one of the Adele.
Oh, that was so
It was
awesome.
so cool. You must have seen that.
No.
So there was Adele sing-alikes or song, and they all were trying to pretend to be Adele, and Adele was one of the ones pretending to be Adele, and none of them believed her, but they were like, thought she was a bit shit.
Yeah. Yeah, they were like, oh, the other girl was much better, but she might make it through. She had a whole prosthetic and she had everything on.
Brilliant.
Oh, wow.
So
And then
funny.
she took it off and revealed it and they just
And
started weeping.
But that's
Yeah,
like
and when they realised it was
The
so
weeping,
good,
I was
wasn't
like-
it? I was, proper way.
I'm Adele.
although they didn't sing, Miley Cyrus and Lady Gaga were in the workroom for Drag Race in America. In disguise. Gaga came in as one of the queens, and they were like, "Who's not?"
Oh, I remember watching that. That
And
was
then
cool.
Miley Cyrus was a workman or something like that. She had the moustache and the cap, and it was all very funny. It's very funny when you
I
see
love
it.
things like that,
Yeah,
when
so I love a good
celebrities kind of do
Good
it a
little
nice
trick.
way.
Yeah.
Well, I think as well, when they're kind of, being kind of benevolent with their gift and their fame and not taking themselves too seriously.
Yeah.
I think when you see celebrities, and they're often the least talented people that take themselves really seriously.
It's always that.
pathetic.
They always tell the most boring stories on couches, and they demand the room for 15 minutes, and you're like, what am I listening to?
Funnily enough, before I went right off her, Miss Nicola Sturgeon, her and Ruth Davidson, so the leader of the Conservatives and leader of SNP, did some kind of sketch in a lift thing that was really funny.
I just remember a Twitter fight between the pair of them disagreeing on policy, and then they went, "Oh well, see you after the holidays. Hope you have a nice break." And you're like, "Oh, okay, that's all very civil and lovely." That's all very No, I didn't see them in the lift. What were they doing in the lift?
I can't remember the actual specifics of it, but it was kind of, just sort of
Elevator pitch, something like that.
Just sort of being.
Are you a fan
crossfit,
of
but funny.
Jacinda?
Yeah, I think she's brilliant. I
Yes.
think there was there's a bit of controversy over
Oh, I
the
like a controversy. Come on.
treatment. How am I going to word that? Basically, obviously, New Zealand had an amazing response to COVID-19, and they immediately had a system with what was called MIQ, which, if you were a citizen, you could come back, but you had to quarantine in a government-provided hotel room for 2 weeks, and then that would cost you $3,500. So that was kind of like, okay, cool. I mean, it's very reasonable. Of course, we need a quarantine. It's just that there was 75,000 New Zealanders urgently trying to get back, and 3,000 hotel rooms for the 3 years. And so people watched their family die on Zoom. And that's not necessarily Jacinda's fault on her own, but the government didn't really have enough of a response to really care about expat New Zealanders. So the whole government's ended up getting sued. So
Really?
for human rights violating. At one point, it was the only country, and that was North Korea and New Zealand were the only country citizens couldn't enter. So there's a little bit of tea there, but compared to the shit show we've got going on over here, like, yeah, she's a godsend. I wouldn't trade her for anything, but yeah, that's the one fault that a lot of New Zealanders overseas kind of had.
Did you go home for any of it?
Couldn't.
No, of course, right.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? Couldn't get
'Cause
back.
the hotel was full. You were technically like Mary and the baby Jesus.
Yeah.
No room at the inn.
Nothing at the end.
Wow.
Nothing at the end. Yeah, so there's a lot of people really, really affected by it. Like, people watch very close family members just die on. So I had to watch a funeral on Zoom. It was like, really not the... But it's not... There's so much... I'm not saying we shouldn't have done a quarantine. That's so important. Just come on, 3,000 hotel rooms for 75,000 people.
Well, it depends what there is. Yeah, but then
And it was just a ballot, so you couldn't... There was no priority.
But that's the knock-on effect, and the cause and effect, and the repercussions.
Yeah.
And it will take time for that to all come to
Yeah.
pass. I haven't said anything yet, but the point is that whatever manifests itself and will continue to manifest
What was
itself
that song
will
for?
probably outdo COVID. But there you go.
What was the song for?
It's a
Don't
sound
get me
effect.
started. Yes, a sound effect for me not to get started.
Oh, sick. I need one of those.
Can she have her own sound effect, please?
I've been very good.
How
nice.
patronising.
Because when an audience laughs, I'll definitely stop. Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Do you go and see other people's shows?
Yeah, I do.
Right.
But I have depression and anxiety, and I'm very neurodivergent, and so I get little tiny things can overwhelm me really easily. And so you can go to a show before your own, and most comedians will experience this. Just like even their microphone going wrong, and you can I'll spiral, and then just be like, my microphone's going to go wrong, everything's going to go wrong, everything's going to go wrong, and it's kind of a little bit dangerous. So, but I definitely go afterwards to shows.
Ah.
And are you enjoying Edinburgh? Because
Yeah, I'm the luckiest. I've never heard of it this easy. I'm a horrible person to be around. Like I've never been to the Fringe before, and like my run's nearly sold out. I'm
Brilliant.
just a prick. And I'm staying at my mate's house for real cheap, and she cooks for me vegetables every day. Do you know what I mean?
She what?
She cooks like beautiful salads for me every
Oh,
day.
right. I thought she said she talked to you as though you were a vegetable. I thought I completely picked
No,
that up.
I've got it way too good. I'm having it. I don't want to even talk about it because I just feel terrible. Like
do
lucked
talk
out.
about it, because I think sometimes we can get dragged down into the kind of negativity and
like,
stuff.
I'm
It's
so
quite
sorry.
easy to
I'm having a
shit.
quite nice time.
But you shouldn't apologise for
Right.
that. That's ridiculous.
I've never heard of
mean,
it happening before.
I'll come and speak to you in a couple of
Yeah,
weeks
exactly.
and see how you're feeling then, bitch.
Come around
But
oh, trust me. Oh, we're in the honeymoon phase. Wait until end of the month, and I'm sobbing on stage.
Yeah.
Don't worry, I know.
The
I know.
the
I've got it too
breakdown's
good.
coming, sweetheart.
I'm ready.
But
I'm ready.
you have to remember, people aren't going to have sympathy for you crying in a sold-out room.
I know.
That's your own business.
Oh, and my sold out crowd weren't the best tonight. I know that some of them were rude. Like, no one cares. Shut up.
And where are you on?
420, blaze it.
At the Pleasance.
No, I said blaze it.
Oh.
Because that's the international weed smoking time. I don't smoke weed.
Oh, 420.
420.
Yes, I didn't understand that.
Someone knows 420.
I don't
Yes.
know what what's
Okay.
420. I don't know what
It's an
420
Yeah, like
International
if
hash
you're
smoking
if you're a
day.
stoner, like 420, everybody is like you smoke weed at 420. It's the kind of it's 5 o'clock somewhere thing.
Oh, right,
Yeah.
okay.
But
like
I don't smoke
cowboy
weed,
time.
But they booked
10
me
to
for
10.
420.
What?
10 to 10 is cowboy time.
10 to 10 is cowboy time.
Yeah.
What's
10 to
cannabinoid?
10 to 10, 10 10 to 10 to 10 to 10 10 10 to 10 to 10 to 10 to 10 10 10 10 10
Tin, tin, tin.
and
I never want to hear that again.
and what's it? It's 2:30. Oh, actually, I don't know if you could. Chinese dentist time 2:30.
No, I don't think we'll have that joke, in all honesty. And it's toothy hurty. And
Toothy
I think
hurty.
that's enough. Alice, thank you very much for
Thanks
joining
for having
us.
me. Thanks so much.
Can we have a round of applause for lovely Alice Brine?
I'll pop that back.
Oh, for goodness sake. Jokes of the 70s. It's
That is
outrageous.
what it is.
Is
Times have a change. See you
I'll
later.
see you later, love. Okay, bye.
Lovely to meet you.
Yes, thank you, Lisa. Oh, you what? Nancy's on
Nancy's
now.
on
Oh,
next.
brilliant. Can we have a round of applause for the one person that stayed in the room
It's
for the international
Nancy.
singing sensation that is Nancy
Nancy
Clench?
Hey,
Oh, she didn't clap.
come up. Oh, what have you done? What are you doing?
Oh,
That's
wow.
nice.
Oh,
Bringing
Nancy.
your own
We,
laughter.
we nearly didn't recognise you.
We're not going to have
Who
that
doesn't
all the
love
way
a
through.
quick change?
We're not going to have that all the way
Yeah,
through.
could you turn that off, love?
Oh,
Oh, it goes off. Yeah, there we go. See?
There we go.
Um,
How are
Hello.
you?
I'm well.
why have we got
It's
you?
nice to be back on the stage.
Yes, it's
I was
lovely.
off last night, you see, because I didn't sell any tickets.
Well, again, we enjoy the honesty.
Well, this is it. And yeah, no ticket boy.
Are you in this room, Nancy?
Yes, on this stage.
Oh, good Lord. So do you get changed in the confidential kitchen?
I do get changed in the kitchen.
Are you tempted to steal the nasty receptionist stuff from the fridge? Because I am. I nearly gobbed in their hummus.
The other day,
Yes.
I forgot to bring the inserts in for my bra.
The bar
What,
towels.
the towels?
So I had to go searching the cupboard for tea towels. So I have in my possession 4 of their tea towels.
Have you taken them home and washed them?
Well, they are in
Make
my...
sure they don't get added to our bill.
Because we can't pay it as is.
No, someone at the Pleasance told me that they were offered 2 towels because the room is very sweaty, and it was added to their bill because the team at the Pleasance went to John Lewis to buy 2 towels. So this was in 2019. The guy got an invoice for £30 for 2 towels, and I said, "Well, did you at least get to take them home?" And he went, "No, because I thought it was the Pleasances." So he got charged for 2 towels.
What the fuck has happened to your volume control?
I don't have
Jesus
full-
Nancy, you
Christ.
seem very animated. Now,
I'm very
Nancy,
animated.
Nancy, your show is called If Your Symptoms Aren't Life-Threatening, Can You Please Hold?
Yeah, not can you, just please hold.
Is it just called?
Oh, no, no,
So it
no,
says,
please.
if your symptoms aren't life-threatening, please hold.
Yeah, I know, I fucking wrote it. How did you come up with the idea for that?
Well, it was going to be called something like, "Madam, can you get out the doctor's surgery?" or something boring. And then you helped me come up with the title.
Yeah, no, that's fine. And are you enjoying this show?
I am enjoying the show. I think it's the best show I've ever done.
Right.
And how
okay.
many times have you done it now?
Like 6.
Okay, all right.
Okay, and how long does it take you to make up into Nancy?
About 30 minutes.
And how long does it take Vanity?
2
Oh,
hours.
Really?
How long does it take you to get out of Nancy?
Well, it depends, because if it was the other day, it took me about 6 hours because I fell asleep in my makeup.
Oh, okay. And then does your skin go to pot?
No, well, does it look like it has? It was
No,
only the
you're
other
looking
day.
very fresh.
Yeah,
Are you
thank
Dr. Kaboom?
Oh, piss off, Nancy.
Well, I think
on the stage.
Thank you, Nancy. There we go. Round of applause to
got-
Nancy Clench. Dr.
We've
Kaboom,
got real
quickly.
guests.
Oh, we knew it would be tight. Hello.
We were just
How are you? Good to see you.
We were just filling time until you got here, but thank God you
Thank you,
arrived because he
Nancy.
was boring me to death.
Now, Dr. Kaboom,
Hello, yes,
are
I've
you
heard
a
of
real
them,
doctor?
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. Are you a real doctor?
No.
No.
Okay,
Speak into the
what
mic.
kind
Yeah,
of a-
yeah, sorry.
What kind of a doctor are you
I'm
proclaiming?
Oh,
I'll
thank
have
you.
it.
Can I?
So I'm an actor, and
Yep.
Dr. Kaboom is the character I created for my shows.
Yeah.
He is a physicist. He's German, so I bleach the hair, spike it up, chrome
Okay.
goggles, orange lab coat with motorcycle boots with flames on the side.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and a thick German accent. So, you know, he's like, yeah, hello. My name is Heinrich von Schwartau. My friends call me Dr. Kaboom. It's a nickname from experiment with a cannon and a hamster.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Kaboom,
it-
I
yeah,
like.
It did not work. Yeah, but you never saw such a look of surprise on a hamster's face in your life. Yeah.
And do you operate on anyone in the show?
No, no. He's not a medical doctor.
All right. Is he just a scientist?
He's a scientist. He's
Just a scientist. Listen
Yes,
to
I
me.
know.
just, yeah,
Yeah.
he-
Just a podcaster.
7 years at university.
right. You know, if anyone calls him Mister, he's like, you know, careful. I work hard for my fake title. So,
I have a friend who's very keen on being called a doctor,
Oh, yeah?
even though it's a PhD,
oh yeah,
which apparently is the same thing as saving lives.
right. So it's
Yeah.
really fun to poke fun and not use
Oh,
the
you can
title.
swear, love. Honestly, doctor, feel free. We're in full surgery here. You offload your ailments to us.
Yeah.
So, do you do live experiments and stuff during the show?
I do live experiments. The show is sort of I basically wrap the character around tabletop experiments that I make much bigger and more ridiculous. And so it's character-driven comedy, interactive with the audience, and then when I bring kids up on stage for volunteers for things, my goal is to empower them, look for opportunities to teach them to be proud of themselves, to stand up for themselves, and to make them the hero of the moment.
Oh, wow.
And so,
Which is what every kid wants to be, don't
Right?
they? The hero of the moment.
yeah.
Not the shy ones.
I don't know, even the
No,
shy
I
ones,
think
I think
sometimes.
like to
yeah.
shine.
Do you have children yourself? Yeah,
I do.
And is that a kind of parenting thing you brought them up with? There's similar
Yeah,
ethos.
absolutely, absolutely.
Because you're an empowering parent, I would say.
Sorry, what?
You're an empowering parent.
I think so,
yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Empowering them to leave.
Well, you're leaving them. Yeah,
as soon as they're old enough.
oh, they are old enough.
They are now, thank you.
Yes.
So you have literally just been on stage and raced to us, which thank you very much.
Yeah,
How
just-
was today's show? Did you feel? Are you starting to compare and contrast your shows and you've got favourites?
I haven't been able to see a whole lot of shows yet. I've been going nonstop for mine, and I've been going to some of the late night shows. I haven't seen any of the other family shows yet. But my show today was great, thank you. It was a lot of fun. We had over 100 people in today, which was nice.
Very good.
And
What does
really-
it hold if it's a 750-seater that's shit, but
Yeah,
if it's
right,
120, do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Perspective.
well, exactly. I'm in Beyond, which is a bit big for my first time being here.
Okay.
But the other option I was given was going to be too small. So there's a nice middle ground. We've had over 200 people in it. It's a 300-seat venue at Plaza's Courtyard. And so it's it just keeps growing every day.
Okay.
And I've just found out today that I'm being brought up on like mom groups on WhatsApp, and people
Oh,
are saying,
really?
Go see
Oh,
the
that's
show.
great.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, it's great that you watch a show grow. It's much better that it starts slow and goes builds rather than the other way down. Do you know what I mean? Audiences drop off a cliff. So, yeah, it's going the right way.
I've been loving it. It's this is a career-long dream to come here, and so to be able to come here and do it with a show, with something I've created and have it working is, it's literally a dream come true.
So, like Alice, this is your first Fringe.
Yeah. Never even been as an audience member, and I can't believe I've
Is it
missed
your
this.
first time to Scotland?
It is.
Oh, wow.
It is.
And where
Also,
are
it
you
must be
from?
quite over-sensory then, is it?
Oh, magnificently so. Yeah.
Cool.
And science is prop heavy, so I had 5 suitcases that I had to fly over, and so I flew into London and rented a car to drive up, and I live in Seattle in the States, which is only about 10 degrees more south, just a little bit south, same weather, same countryside, and so as soon as I hit Scotland, and as soon as I started coming into the Edinburgh area, I was like, okay, I could live here. This is pretty much home. Where are you from?
We're from here as well.
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
originally from Dundee, which is a smaller city further north.
And I'm originally from Dunkeld, which is a very small town just
In
near
Perth.
Perth.
Sure.
Right on.
So,
Yeah.
but we're both Edinburgh now. I've 30 years I've been here now.
I think you can just say you're from Edinburgh now.
Yeah,
it's
I
a bit
think
like
so,
apparently if
definitely.
you spend 10 years in New York, you can call yourself a New Yorker.
Oh,
Right,
really?
Yeah.
Well, so they said in Sex and the City, which
Well, I
is akin
agree,
to the
nobody's-
Bible.
Yeah, well,
I mean,
then,
really.
If they said
No
it,
one's
that's
going to
defines
disagree
it,
with
so.
that.
Did you watch any of Sex and the City?
I did. I had a friend who was on it for a while.
Who?
I'm not going to say.
Why?
Oh.
Yeah. He was a guy. He was one of the boyfriends for a while, and he was really good.
Oh, 'cause-
It wasn't.
His name is Mike Dooley. Is his name? He was on it. I don't remember what year.
That was his character name.
No,
No,
that's
it's
his
his
name.
That's his
So
name.
if you look up the actor Mike Dooley, I don't. I
Who
can't
was he a
recall.
boyfriend of?
See, I can't recall right
Oh,
now.
for God's
Now I'm
sake.
on the spot.
Get
I know.
I mean, you know all this useless information about
know.
science, but
I
when we
know.
get to something that's real,
Right?
did you watch any of the reboot and Just Like That? Oh my God, don't bother. It's so offensive.
good.
Did you watch any of it? Absolutely appalling.
I didn't.
So have you brought any of your family over with you? Have you just brought yourself?
Just myself. My wife was going to come over, but she's shifting careers from being a director to a writer.
Okay.
And she just got accepted into this major writing conference in the U.S.
Fantastic.
Oh, wow.
So, and it's the same time she was going to come over, so we were like, all right, I'll go explore my dream, you go explore yours, and she's going to join me for a week in the countryside after we're done.
Oh,
nice.
lovely.
Yeah. So, and then we have two girls who are, pardon me, 17 and 18.
Okay.
And, they're doing their own things.
They're doing their own thing,
Right,
yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
That particularly that age, kids don't want to be anywhere near their parents. That's
Yeah.
kind of between sort of 16 to 20, really. They're just like,
Yeah.
get away from
Well,
me.
except when they need some cash or
Oh, 100%.
something.
That's the only time. Yeah.
We're pretty fortunate. Ours are both lovely girls. You know, I've got a daughter and a stepdaughter, and they were born a year and a day apart.
Oh, okay.
So they were they'd be the same birthday, except that the hospital gave my wife the wrong amount of a drug, so she was in labor for an extra 24 hours.
Wow.
I can laugh because it wasn't me.
Well, exactly. So, what time are you on?
I'm on at noon.
Noon,
At the Pleasance
right.
Courtyard.
Okay.
Every day through the 21st.
And it's also suitable for adults as well.
It is.
Yeah.
I did comedy for 20 years.
Oh, wow.
And then when my daughter was born, I decided to turn to family audiences.
Okay, that
for
makes
a number of
sense.
reasons. Yeah, I wanted her to be able to see the show. I wanted her to be proud of it. It's also more lucrative.
Yeah.
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 And you're not having to do a night in every town. I'm still on tour. I'm still on the road a lot, but I'm able to have a little bit more time at home.
So it is people coming to your show with kids. Are adults coming on their own?
Adults, I will occasionally come along. Sometimes I do adults only.
Okay.
Same science, different jokes. I don't go totally blue with it. I don't go over the line because it just doesn't suit the character, but I let the audiences go there.
Oh,
So I
right.
take
okay.
them to the edge of that, let that fill in. And honestly, adults laugh harder at my shows than the kids because they get all the jokes.
Yeah.
And they're also, how can you not enjoy seeing this adorable 5-year-old child who's nervous on stage, sitting on a little chair on top of a poker tabletop that I've turned into a hovercraft and literally fly across the stage.
Oh,
wow. So
wow.
it's
Do
my
you
show
have to
is,
be 5? Can you be 56? And
you
do
can
that?
come on by, you can ride it. It will hold me. And
Oh, wow. Well, I'll come then. You're selling this to me.
yeah, it's ridiculous fun. I mean, you just come over between shows. I'll give you a ride on the
That'd
hovercraft.
be great.
Isn't that lovely? That is the first ride we've been offered
Isn't it?
on the
Yeah.
podcast. I'm thrilled.
Well, absolutely.
I've never felt so attractive.
There's an achievement.
Teabagging on a tea tray. Dr. Kaboom, thank you very much for joining us. That hour is up. But
very
thank you for sprinting and have a great rest of the Fringe.
Thanks for having me.
Can we have a
Thanks
round of applause for Dr. Kaboom?
Thank you. I love this.
Yay.
Now, just before we go, can I do a plug for my friend's venue? It's the House of Oz. And apparently there's a very, very talented young Antipodean lady called Gabby Bolt, who people should be going to see. That's just something that I said I would do. So I get my free meal and 8 bottles of wine tonight before I go and see Jinx Monsoon. As you can tell, I'm very shallow. But I look forward to you riding me later. Thank you very much, Doctor.
Thank you.
I'll see you tomorrow, Jojo. Godspeed.
Yes, mañana, my darling.